So welcome. Thank you for coming on a virtual tour with me here at one of our new acquisitions. The old BSA Hospice building was miraculously, honestly, given to us free of charge. And we felt like it was a real blessing and a gift out of the lap of God into ours. And what we're able to do with this is something so crucial that I want to walk you through this process. And so while we serve the homeless, which everyone knows, Faith City Mission serves the homeless. And so for 67 years, we have fed, clothed, housed, and put broken lives back together here. And but what we discovered in this whole process is that in order to do the best we could for each of those that come to need our help is to realize there are 6 very specific people groups within the homeless sector. And so what we're learning to do is that different groups need different things from us. And they're all in crisis. They're all a mess. Mommies are crying and babies need their diapers changed, kids are hungry, and it's just a mess. That part we absolutely understand. But from that point, things change. And so there is a people group that we call the mommies and their babies, the mommies with their kids. So mommies are one, kids are another one. And they're broken and they're hurt, they're betrayed, they're brutalized, and then they come to us. It requires a long-term healing in order to get them to a place where they can get back on their feet and be viable in the society. That takes a while to get healed. So the second people group that we help are addicted men. And they come to us broken and a mess and addicted. And what took a while to get to is going to take a while to get out of. And that's a long-term healing process as well. And then we also have a group of women that are addicted women, and they also are going to have to go through the same length of a process in order to be healed. Those take long-term care. Now, the other 3 people groups have to do with short-term care. These are people who are, for instance, missionites. Missionites come to us because they're not really viable. We call them missionites. They're not really viable on the street. They can't probably hold a job. They're disabled in some way. That could be mentally disabled, emotionally disabled. It could also be physically disabled. And so they come and live with us. And we feed, clothe, house, take care of all their needs, but most especially we make them a part of our family. They're our family, and they feel a part of a family. And in return, they do a chore in the mission. So, for instance, someone has to strip all those beds every day, and someone has to wash all those sheets every day, and someone's got to dry those sheets and put them back on the bed. That's something a chore that someone can do, and for that they stay with us, and they're a part of who we are and what we are. We have missionites that actually take care of those that want to come in and just get a shower. And so that's a real important piece to the puzzle. We could not really do all we do without them. And of course, then you have people that we would call chronic homeless. In other words, they don't really want to get clean and sober, or they don't really want these programs and a long-term healing. They just really need a meal today, or they need an overnight shelter today, or they need a shower, or maybe they need a bus ticket, or a prescription filled. And so these are things that these are short-term needs, and we can do these and meet these needs in a short-term fashion. In addition to that, you have a group that are the working poor. This is kind of a new group for us. And this is a group that has a home and they can pay their rent, say, but they can't also pay for food or for shopping or clothing, furniture, dishes, towels, whatever it is they need. And so what we're able to do is let them come shop in our store. It's shopping, it's all free of charge. But all the in-kind donations that have been brought to us, actually, we do not put them in a thrift store. We give them in turn all away. That's what we do. We're here to help them. And so those people that can afford the rent possibly, I feel like we can keep their head above water and keep them unhomeless if we're able to meet these other needs, so the food and the clothing and the dishes and the utility, everything that they might need, we're able to help them with that short term, but very necessary just to keep them from sitting on a street corner going, we've lost our home. And that we don't want to see with those mommies and those daddies and children. And so with these short-term needs, we are able to actually use this building that you're seeing right here, that was given to us, amazing, absolutely amazing gift. Trees and green grass and blue sky and birds chirping. It's an amazing place in order for us to help this short-term people group. And so we are in the process right now of actually renovating this whole thing so that we can serve those short-term needs here in Amarillo in a beautiful building in a safe place. And it's very exciting to see. I want to tell you a little bit more about it, knowing that now you understand that the short-term needs are actually going to be met in this building right here. Let's go inside. So here we are in this incredible entryway. We call this Mom Central because everything that could go wrong does go wrong here. And our receptionist and those that meet the needs of the guests that come to us are the ones that know, okay, tell me all about it. What's going on? Let me get you a tissue. Just the things the tragedies that walk in our door, it really takes a Mom Central to sort those out and get them to the place they need to be. And so we have this incredible place, and people like this right here come in and they need help of some sort. And so the receptionist is able to sort through that. If it's clothing, we go this direction. If it's food, we go this direction. Or we need just counsel. A lot of times just prayer. They come in for prayer. Please somebody pray for me. And then we lead them into the chapel. And so this is a very important place for the guests to come in. It's their first impression. And so it's very important that those that greet them with kindness and respect and compassion, no matter how naughty they might be acting, which it can happen here. It can be, they're tired and they're hungry and they're angry and it can blow up. But our job is to love them, treat them with respect, and see if we can't meet this need for them. I love Mom Central right here, and I love the people that actually facilitate those guests that come in, and they're the first person they meet and they're met with kindness. So let me show you what else we have in store. So voila, and here we are. Amazing. This is a beautiful place, a chapel. Now, ever since 1951, when we started Faith City Mission, the most important thing we see is spiritual bankruptcy. And that has to be healed first. And so many times, 3 times a day, we have chapel here before the meals. And they come into chapel and they're met by a pastor. Usually it's a guest pastor, or it's myself or one of our other staff members. And we just begin to tell them about the love of God. They don't need to be beat up any more than they have been. They already know how things haven't worked out for them. But what they need is just to really know and be assured of His extraordinary love for them and His reckless pursuit of where they are in their lives. And so many miracles do happen here in the chapel, just to see people gloriously set free from the things that have burdened them and weighed them down all their lives. And so as chapel happens here, sometimes we have about, this chapel right here seats 120 people. They come in from the lobby, they get settled in here, and we have this glorious speaker. Sometimes we have glorious praise and worship or videos for them to be inspired by of what God's done in other people's lives. And so sometimes we actually have a horse trough, and it serves the purpose of baptizing them. And so we're excited to get to baptize guests, men, women, and children. It's one of our greatest pleasures to do that for them. And so this is where they get spiritual nurturing. This is where I've heard so many times, I've heard these words, I feel so much better. Why? Because God touched them. God encountered them where they were in their pain and in their misery, in the mess up, in their wreck of a life. But He becomes the wrecking ball, and He just changes everything for them, just like that. It's amazing, and we're really, really excited to see what God's going to do here in this incredible chapel. So here we are. Welcome to Mama's Kitchen. This is such an important part of what we're able to do for the guests. So as they leave chapel, they walk in through this door that you see and begin to be seated. Now, we don't require that they actually go through a line or any of that. There are guests here, and we treat them that way. So volunteers are so kind to come and serve them at the table, just like Chili's. It's supposed to be a restaurant experience for them. And so we feel very strongly about our kitchen being clean, and our dining room being clean and inviting. And this place is so inviting. All the light that's actually coming in the windows here just makes all the difference in the world for our guests. And as they come and they're seated and they're served, on the back of each of their chairs, there is a plaque. And on that plaque is the name of a generous donor who has bought this chair. And what does that mean? It means that whoever sits in this chair will receive a year's worth of meals free of charge because a donor paid for those already. It's called a seat at the table. And it means I'm buying this seat at the table and my name's going to be on this chair because I'm providing this seat at this table right now. Oh, amazing story. Behind me, you'll also see a wall in which there are spheres, and on those spheres will be the different names of all of the donors that have wanted and feel a heart for feeding those that are hungry. You know, in Matthew 25, Jesus really couldn't have made it any clearer when he said, blessed are you. Come into my Father's kingdom and receive all that he's given to you, because when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. And when I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. And when I was in prison, you came and visited me. And when I was sick, you came and held my hand. It can't be any clearer. And so we carry out that commandment of Jesus's to do what he did. Why? Because he said, when you do it to the least of these, you do it for me. Listen, that's big to me. I'm getting to serve my master by serving this little child or this little guy who really needs to wash his hair, but it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter to Jesus at all. It's just this dear honor to get to serve the poor and get to serve them their dinner. It means everything to me. And it means everything to me that it's in this wonderful, beautiful place for them. And everyone has a seat at the table. As you know, many of us have said that the center of a house is the kitchen, and that's where the warm spot is. I'm not sure you know this, but Hospice actually does not have a kitchen in order to feed their guests, because their mission is to help guests travel from this world to the next with dignity and comfort. And so feeding is not part of that process. I actually had 3 of my loved ones here at this hospice, and their transition meant everything to me. It was with dignity and respect, but it was not with food. And so there wasn't a kitchen here that we could even remotely use. So we've actually had our architects carve out a kitchen big enough to serve 120 guests at a time. And so I'd love to show that to you right now. And here we are, right here in our wonderful kitchen that's going to be the most amazing part of the house. Even where we are now, what I love is that when our chef, which we do have a chef, actually cooks the meals, wonderful meals, mom and dad type meals, not homeless shelter meals. And it's one way that we treat our guests with respect, is that we serve them our very best. And when they come in here, they're seated, you can already smell what's cooking for dinner. And so it might be chicken cacciatore, it might be spinach lasagna, it might be pork chops with button mushrooms and wild rice, my favorite day of the week to get to eat. But whatever it is, the smells make everyone feel like it really is an important part of our whole location here, is a large, beautiful new kitchen where we can serve everyone that walks in the door. You know, I have to tell you a story, really, that I think will illustrate to you the importance of this room that I'm standing in right here, right now. There was a day where a woman came to me with a 2-year-old in a stroller, and it was about 5:30 in the evening, and she said, "I don't have anywhere to stay." And it was a particularly rough winter night, and I said, "I am so sorry. We actually were full. We already have the guests that are coming in to stay with us, and I don't have any room." She said, "My God, I'll sleep on the floor." And I said, "That's taken too. We've already got them lined up like cordwood, and I am so sorry. I don't know where we could possibly put you that you would be safe tonight here at this mission." And so I'm encouraging you to go to one of the other shelters. And I watched her walk away from our shelter, pushing a stroller at dusk into the evening, and I couldn't help her. I said, "Lord, please don't ever make me do that again. I can't do that again. Please provide for us a larger place where there's plenty of room for everyone." And that was the prayer of my heart. And God granted that prayer. And He brought us this place so that there's plenty of room for everyone to sleep safely, warmly, and with no worry about what's out there. What I love about these dorm rooms is that they're bright and light and lots of window light, but also I think even more exciting is that they have access out to, every room has access out to a courtyard. The courtyard is actually walled so that it's a safe place. And so children can go out to play, moms can go out to visit, and so there's a courtyard for all the dorm rooms that have to do with moms and staff members. Then there's another courtyard that have to do with all the homeless guys and those that stay with us, so that they're two completely separate courtyards. And so moms, they're safe over here, and the guys can go out and have a cigarette and chat without having to look over, their shoulder and be afraid about what might be coming up behind them. And so this is that place of absolute security and safety and warmth. And with this gift, I hope never to have to turn anyone away again. So you can see how amazing this place is and how amazing it's going to be. I can tell you this, last year, where we are right now, on 2nd Street, we served over 80,000 meals to those that came to us because they had nothing to eat. And we also had about 448 salvations at the 2nd Street location. When we come here, we'll actually have 30 more beds than we do now in a certainly much nicer place. We'll have 25 more seats at the table. And that means everything to me, so that people can come here to this inviting place, clean, green grass, birds chirping, an amazing place for people to come and turn their lives around and change everything. And it's our honor to get to do that. What we'd like to do is extend that welcome to you as well. In other words, will you consider linking arms with us in serving the poor and honoring our Savior in that way, serving these that cannot help themselves, helping these that cannot help themselves. If we link arms, then we have hope for all of them. Thank you so much.